Hello learners, welcome to week 2 lecture 1 of English grammar for employability. In this lecture we shall explore prepositions and we'll see different uses of prepositions. In English grammar, prepositions are very tricky, especially for an Indian counterpart. These are short words, but their use in a sentence is very prominent. Wrong use of preposition can alter the entire meaning of the sentence. And speaking and writing, the correct use of preposition is of course a tough job, because these prepositions are governed by noun, adjective and verb in a sentence. Certain prepositions take fixed prepositions after them, whereas some others take no preposition after. It is equally difficult to trace prepositions error in a sentence in English, and that's why in almost all entrance examinations these errors are deliberately given to the students who are going to take competitive examinations. It is because a preposition can have different functions in a sentence. The preposition at, for example, has as many as 18 different functions depending in which situation you are using in. If you consult a dictionary, you will find many uses of a single preposition. Also, there is no logical way of deciding in English grammar which preposition goes with a particular noun, verb, and adjective. Anyway, it all depends on your practice that can help you in correct uses of preposition. Let's see what is a preposition. We shall discuss some basics of preposition first, and then we will move to error detection. So let's see. Preposition is a word that takes place before a noun or a pronoun to express a relation, direction, method, source, etc. with noun, pronoun, phrases and other words in a sentence. It is always followed by a noun form or a pronoun and is never followed by a verb. Remember, for example, Arjun was in the battlefield. Now the preposition in the sentence in is telling the position of Arjun. Let's see another sentence. She has returned from America. Now the word from is a preposition here which is showing the position of she, the subject. There are 5 types of prepositions. The first is simple preposition. These are one-word prepositions, for example, in, at, of, to, with, by, for, from, out, till, up, with, through, etc. Second one is compound prepositions, and these are about, above, across, along, among, around, before, behind, below, beneath, besides, between, beyond, inside, outside, within, without, etc. The another type of preposition is participle prepositions. These are participle prepositions because these are in form of a participle, like concerning, regarding, considering, notwithstanding, owing, during, etc. The fourth type of preposition is phrase preposition. These prepositions are also known as group prepositions. These are because of, by means of, in spite of, for the sake of, instead of, with reference to, with regard to, in addition to, on behalf of, in place of, in front of, etc. The final one is double prepositions. And these are double prepositions because we have to use 2 prepositions for that. Because sometimes one preposition is not sufficient to serve the purpose, then we use these double prepositions. These are from among, from under, out of, from beneath, into, onto, etc. Let's see some frequently used prepositions and their uses. 1. Preposition of time and date. In, at, and by. The preposition in is used in the expressions like in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, in winter, in summer, in a month, year, week, etc. For example, he plays in morning. He came here in summer. The another preposition is at. At is used in the expressions like at night, at noon, midnight, Deepavali or any festival, 2 o'clock, any specific time, 2 a.m., 2 p.m., at last, first, at the beginning, and etc. For example, he comes from school at 9 o'clock. I will see you at 10 a.m. The third preposition is by, which is frequently used, and this is used for the expressions like by tomorrow, by Sunday, by 3 o'clock, etc. For example, he will come here by Monday. I shall complete this task by 9 o'clock. The another preposition is from. From is used to show duration and direction. For example, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it is also used to show the direction. For example, my friend travels from Meerut to Delhi. In the second sentence, you see that direction is shown by the word from. The another word is during. During as a preposition shows time duration. For example, during winter, during summer, during this month, during holidays, during 1982, etc. For example, I cannot recall what happened during the first month after my illness. The another preposition is since. Since is used for definite time. For example, since 2 o'clock, since morning, since last night, 1981. Here you see that in all these expressions we have definite time. For example, she has been singing since morning. The another preposition is preposition of place. In is the preposition which is used for places, and it is used for multiple purposes, such as for big countries we use in, town, cities, village, place, building, factory, specific time, belief, etc. For example, Manoj lives in America. Delhi, Putti, place. That is showing the place. Here in the sentence, America is a country, Delhi is a big city, Mawana is a town, and Putti is a village. So this particular can be used in this particular form. For example, for place we can use the preposition like he works in a factory, in an office, in a company. So here place of work is given. Now coming to the another, I believe in truth, simple living, high thinking, etc. So here for belief, view and thinkings, we also use the preposition in. The preposition at is the another preposition which is used in expressions like at home, at work, at canal, used for small towns, village, address, specific time, emails, etc. For example, I live at Parikshitgarh. That is a small town, so I have used at here. My friend works at B49 Sector 10 Rajnagar Ghaziabad. Here it is address. For address we use at. Please drop me your resume at dr@rediffmail.com. So here it is email ID, and for email ID we use at. Now the another preposition you see is on. And on is used in expressions such as on the platform, on the railway line, or on the farm, on work, etc. For example, don't play on the platform. So on is used for place. Now here are some prepositions, especially two prepositions are very much important, which are used for travel and movement. The first one is from. From is used for separation, while the another preposition to is used for unification. For example, the sentence you see, my friend came from Meerut to Haridwar. Now the preposition from is used to separate my friend from Meerut and to connect him to Haridwar. So for is used for separation and to is used for unification. The another preposition is by, and by is always used method of transport like by car, by bus, by air, by boat, etc. For example, my friend often go to Nainital by car. Now here the preposition by is used for the means of transportation, that is car. Jack went to Mumbai by train. In the same way, for train, means of transport, we have used the preposition by. Now here are certain rules for prepositions, and these rules will help us out to detect errors in the uses of preposition. So let's see rule number 1. There are some verbs, if used in active voice, they don't take any preposition after them. These are reach, order, resemble, company, benefit, afford, combat, violate, assist, obey, inform, succeed, precede, request, pervade, pick, resist, attack, etc. Now let's take the very first sentence. For example, I have been told that I resemble with my grandfather. Now, what is the mistake in this sentence? In this sentence, the verb resemble doesn't require preposition after it. We have already gone through the rule. So erase with. Here is no requirement of the preposition with. Say the sentence as, I have been told that I resemble my grandmother. Let's take the another sentence. He has reached in his office. The preposition in is wrong here. Erase it and say the sentence, he has reached his office. Another sentence, if you order for it, they will go away. Now here the preposition for is wrong. So omit it and say, if you order it, they will go away. Another sentence you see, I will accompany with you in every situation. The preposition here in the sentence with is wrong. Erase it and say the sentence, I will accompany you in every situation. Rule number 2 is equally important. The phrases of time like morning, afternoon and evening always take preposition in with them. But the other expressions such as dawn, daybreak, noon, midday and midnight take at. Let's see the very first sentence. I went to the stadium in the morning. Now the preposition in is right here because for morning we use in. Another sentence, some students read at night. For night we have used at, so it is right. Moreover, when last and next, these two words qualify time, no preposition is ever used. For example, Mohan saw me the last afternoon. No preposition required. Second sentence, he will be coming to you the next month. No preposition required. Rule number 3. There are two words, ago and before. And these are differently used. Ago is used with a past tense and a time expression to count back from the present. Before is used with a past perfect tense to count back from a past. Before can also be used to mean at any time before now and then. With this meaning, it can be used with both present and past perfect tense, means before. Let's see the example. It happened a long time ago. The sentence is past tense, so the use of ago is right. I met my friend in Delhi 3 years ago, past tense, no improvement required. The another sentence, you have seen this film before. The tense is present tense, so before is right. Have you been here before? Present tense, so before is right also here. Rule number 4 is important. Let's see this. Preposition on is used to denote the thing in rest. For example, there is a book on the table. The cat jumped upon the table. So in both sentences, the first sentence there is no motion. In the second sentence there is motion. But we use the preposition onto to talk about direction or movement to a position on a surface, usually with a verb that expresses movement. For example, the cat climbed onto the table. Now it is a motion. Cat is on the table and there is a movement. So we will use onto. Water was dripping onto the floor. So here is also a motion. Rule number 5. To and into are used to denote the things which are in motion, while in is used when something is within and when someone or something comes from outside to the inside, we use preposition into. For example, he is in the water, or he is in water. He fell into the water. So both these situations are different. Now rule number 6, the preposition between is used for two and among is used for more than two. For example, there is fight between good and wise. So here are two things, so we should use between. Preposition between is right here. But when we say he has a number of businessmen among his friends, now the word among as a preposition is right here because here are more than two of his friends. Rule number 7. It is advisable to use different preposition with different words, where one preposition doesn't serve the purpose. For example, now here in this sentence there are two words, preferable and better. So both these words will require two different prepositions. Because preferable and better require different prepositions, so preposition then is not sufficient to and serve both the words, preferable and better. Hence the correction would be, this book is preferable to and better than that book. So in this sentence separately we have used two prepositions, preferable to and better than. Now let's take the another sentence. Ram is more intelligent and junior to Sham. There is same problem in this sentence. You can say there is same mistake in this sentence. We have to use two prepositions for. For example, Ram is more intelligent than and junior to Sham. Now the sentence is correct. Now let's see rule number 8. It is not a good practice to end a sentence with a preposition. However, there are 3 exceptions to this rule. 1. When in a sentence the object is relative pronoun that, whom, who, etc., the preposition can be used at the end of the sentence as. Here is the glass of water that Ram is desiring for. So in the sentence, in the last of the sentence, we have used the preposition for, right? So it is right because we have used relative pronoun before Ram. Let's see the another sentence. This is the child whom I was referring to. So in the last, referring to is a preposition we have used because the relative pronoun whom is there. So it is right. Another rule is preposition is commonly used at the end of the sentence when the object happens to the interrogative pronoun. For example, what are you gazing at? Now just after gazing, we have used the preposition at in the last. So it is right. Now here is a list of the words followed by certain prepositions. Do learn them and frame short sentences using them. This activity will help you to learn this word preposition combination. The list is also in the PDF format to download. So here is the list of the preposition given on the screen. You can stop the video and you can learn them. Now let's take some easy sentences for practice and then we shall proceed to complex ones. Here are some of the sentences given on the screen. Let's analyze them. Let's take the first sentence. My friend went to abroad last year. He wrote me a letter. Please send this letter on my email address. It resembles to me. So in these 4 sentences, what are the errors? Now let's see the first sentence. My friend went to abroad last year. Before abroad, we don't use preposition to, remember. So say the sentence, my friend went abroad last year. Second sentence, he wrote me a letter. Use to and say he wrote a letter to me is the right sentence. Use of preposition is must here. Please send this letter on my address. We have learnt already that for address we use preposition at. So use at in place of on. On is wrong. So say this sentence, please send this letter at my address. The last sentence you see, it resembles to me. The verb resemble doesn't require to after it. So say this sentence, it resembles me. Now there are 4 more sentences on the screen. My cousin reached to Delhi. Sanju sat on a tree. She rides on a car. We have discussed on this topic already. Now analyze these sentences and find the errors. Well, let's see. The first one. My cousin reached to Delhi. Just after the verb reach, we never use preposition. So erase the preposition to because the verb reach doesn't take preposition. Say, my cousin reached Delhi. Another sentence, Sanju sat on a tree. Now, in a tree is the right expression. Use in for tree. We use in and not on. Remember. So Sanju sat in a tree is a right sentence. Another sentence, he rides on a car. Now to say on a car is wrong because by means of transportation we use in. So say this sentence, he rides in a car is the right expression. Let's take the another one. We have discussed on this topic already. Now in this sentence, no preposition is required. Verb discuss means talk about. So need not to apply the preposition on. Say the sentence, we have discussed this topic already. Now here are 4 more sentences on the screen. Let's analyze them. Here is a chair to sit. Smokers are prevented to come here. I meet with you. Distribute these books among Ram and Sham. Now analyze these sentences and detect errors. Let's take the first one. Here is a chair to sit. Add preposition in after sit. In general, we use on for surface and in for enclosed areas, inside and outside. In and on both are right. It depends on the type of the chair. Mostly we use for chair the preposition in. So say the sentence, here is a chair to sit in. Okay. Let's take the another one. Smokers are prevented to come here. Now erase to and use from because the verb prevent takes form and a gerund form after it, means ing form after it. That is also a point. So say this sentence, smokers are prevented from coming here. So 2 modifications are required in this sentence. Let's take the another one. I met with him. Now here erase with and say I met him. Another sentence, distribute these books among Ram and Sham. Here you see that there are only 2 people, Ram and Sham. 2 persons are here, Ram and Sham. So for 2 we use between. So between is right to use. Erase among and say the sentence, distribute these books between Ram and Sham. He went near the station. This is a letter to you. Smoking is injurious for health. He met misfortune. Now these 4 sentences are here before you. Analyze them and find the mistakes. Well, let's take the first one. In the first sentence, he went near the station. Use to in place of near because the verb go takes to after it. So say this sentence, he went to the station is the right sentence. Let's take the another one. This is a letter to you. This is a letter for you is the right expression. To is not required. Another sentence is smoking is injurious for health. Here use of preposition for is wrong because for warning we use to. To is more powerful than for. So say this sentence, smoking is injurious to health. Another sentence, he met misfortune. Here one important point you have to remember. One rule is important here, and that is meet normally means come face to face with somebody or something. Like I met a man. Okay? But meet with means to experience anything. Here we are talking about experience in this sentence. So use meet with and say he met with misfortune. Now here are 4 more sentences on the screen. We suffer because we make the unreal as real. They are talking something. Send this letter through the post. My boss is in his office. Now what do you see in these sentences? Well, let's take the first one. We suffer because we mistake the unreal as real. Here the preposition as is wrong. Erase as and use for. Now the correct sentence would be, we suffer because we mistake the unreal for real. Another sentence you see, they were talking something. Use the preposition about with the verb talking. So say the sentence, they were talking about something. Now let's take the another sentence. Send this letter through post. We say by post, it is common expression. So erase through and use by. Now say this sentence as send this letter by post. Now the another sentence you see on the screen is my boss is in his office. We have already read in the rules that for offices we use at and not in. So erase in and use at. Say the sentence now, my boss is at his office. By now in this video lecture, we have learned important rules associated with prepositions. Now we are ready to slay some sentences from this topic. Pause the video and read the sentences slow to trace errors. Prepositions, current patterns and correct uses. Now here are 5 sentences on the screen. Stop the video, analyze the sentence and find the mistakes. Let's see the first one. I sometimes don't understand why you should be surprised with this action of hers. Now in this sentence, part C is wrong because the verb surprise takes the preposition at and not with. So replace and say the sentence, I don't understand why you should be surprised at this action of hers. Let's take the another one. Woman's beauty may be compared with that of a flower because both types of beauty is ethereal. Now in the sentence, compare with and compare to. These two words are very much important. Compared with and compared to. Compared with is used for comparing two things which are similar or alike. For example, her songs were compared with the songs of the original singer. While compared to is used for comparing two things which are not similar or not alike. For example, he compared her eyes to the depth of the ocean. Here the preposition to is used to emphasize the resemblance between two things which are not the same. Now it is the correct sentence. Women's beauty may be compared to that of a flower because both types of beauty is ethereal. Now let's take the third one. He must be aware of the fact that men under 25 years of age cannot take examination. Now in the sentence, preposition under in part C is wrong because it is used for vertical relationship. Under is used for vertical relations and nearness, while preposition below is used for level, rank, standards, etc. So use below in place of under and say the sentence, he must be aware of the fact that men below 25 years of age cannot take examination. Now let's take the another sentence that is also interesting one. Jack, you should know that she was very much glad with your performance. Now in this sentence, if you analyze, there is a mistake in part C. Preposition with is wrong because the verb glad takes at as a preposition. Now the correct sentence would be, Jack, you should know that she was very much glad at your performance. The verb glad takes preposition to and for according to expressions like I'm glad about the new job, I'm glad to see you again, etc. Let's take the another sentence. It was very dense yesterday morning, therefore the whole city was enveloped by mist. Now if you analyze this sentence, you will find mistake in part D. In this sentence, the use of preposition in with the verb envelop is wrong. Use enveloped in. In is the right preposition here. See the correct sentence now. It was very dense fog yesterday morning, therefore the whole city was enveloped in mist. Now let's take the another sentence. In the countries like India, everyone complains against callous treatment of the police. Now in the sentence, the use of preposition against is erroneous in part B. Because complains of is the correct usage. The word complain is always targeted at something or someone. It is also a negative impact. There is no need to double negate it with a word like against. So say this sentence now. In the countries like India, everyone complains of callous treatment of the police. Now let's take the another sentence. Why doesn't he look in the book to get an appropriate answer of this taxing question? In this sentence, the preposition in is wrong because look in means to visit someone quickly, which is not giving a correct sense here. While look into means to investigate, to inquire, or to inquire the facts about something, such as a problem, etc. So use into in place of in. Look into is the correct expression here. Now the correct sentence would be, why does he not look into the book to get an appropriate answer to this taxing question? Now let's take the another sentence. I know I have committed a blunder and I beg pardon from you for what I have done. Now analyze this sentence and tell what is the mistake. Now in this sentence, part C is wrong. And in part C, the preposition from is wrong. Because with the verb like pardon, we use of and not from. Either we say, I beg pardon of you, or I beg your pardon. So erase from and use of and say the sentence. I know I have committed a blunder and I beg pardon of you for what I have done. Now let's take the another sentence. This is equally important one. Whether you accept it or not, you must be ashamed at this folly of yours. Now when you will analyze this sentence, you will find that the preposition after ashamed is wrong. Because the word ashamed takes the preposition of after it. So use of in place of at and say the sentence as, whether you accept it or not, you must be ashamed of this folly of yours. Now let's take the another sentence. Now we have adopted this strategy because there is no alternative of it. Now in this sentence, the use of preposition of is wrong because the word alternative takes preposition to after it. Therefore, use to in place of and say. Now we have to adopt this strategy because there is no alternative to it. Now let's take the another sentence. The introduction to this book is very good, but the preface of this book is very short. If you analyze this sentence, you find that it is right to say the introduction to this book. So the preposition to after introduction is right. Okay, but in the later part, when you say the preface of this book is wrong. So the mistake is in part D. Erase the preposition of and use to, because according to the sense, to is correct here. Now the correct sentence would be, the introduction to this book is very good, but the preface to this book is very short. So in both the parts, preposition to is right. Let's take the another sentence. Within how many days will you send a reply of my letter? Now tell what is the mistake in this sentence. It is prepositional mistake, so let's see. Part D in this sentence is wrong because error is there in the uses of after reply. We use a preposition to after the verb reply. Now the correct sentence would be, within how many days will you send a reply to my letter? Now let's see the another sentence. Never try to smoke, otherwise you will become a slave of smoking. Now in this sentence, part D is wrong. Erase the preposition of and use to, because according to the sense, to is correct here. Now the correct sentence would be, never try to smoke, otherwise you will become a slave to smoking. Let's take the another sentence. It is next to impossible for all of us to come to any conclusion because I differ from you in this point. Here also there is an error in part D. Erase the preposition from and use with. The reason is, when we talk about difference in opinion, we use differ with. Now the correct sentence would be, it is next to impossible for all of us to come to any conclusion because I differ with you in this point. Now let's see these 5 sentences on the screen. Your car differs with that of hers, not only in color but also in height and length. Here in this sentence, part D is wrong. Erase the preposition with and use from. Because when we talk about quality, manner, attitude, size and color, we use differ from. Now the correct sentence would be, your car differs from that of hers, not only in color but also in height and length. Let's take the another sentence. For many years they have been at loggerheads, and yesterday she finally parted to her old husband. Now in this sentence you see there is an error in part D. We always use preposition from for separation and to for unification. We have already read in the rules. For example, he came from America to India. So from is used in the sentence to separate and to for unification. Now the correct sentence would be, for many years they have been at loggerheads and yesterday she finally parted from her old husband. So that is the correct sentence. Now let's take the another sentence. It seems that my watch is not working properly, so will you please tell me what's the time in your watch? Now in the sentence, the use of preposition in part D is wrong. It is right to say time by your watch, time by watch. So for watch we use by. Now the correct sentence would be, it seems that my watch is not working properly, so will you please tell me what's the time by your watch? Is the right sentence. Now let's take the another sentence quickly. Who are not desirous to get a well-paid job and a beautiful lady to live life with? Anyway, what is the mistake in this sentence? What is the error? Now in this sentence, the use of preposition to in part B is wrong. Just after desirous, the word desirous takes a preposition of and a gerund form. Okay, remember. So use of in place of to and change get in gerund form getting. Now the correct sentence would be, who are not desirous of getting a well-paid job and a beautiful lady to live life with. Now let's see the another sentence. As far as this problem of yours is concerned, there is no remedy of this. As a matter of fact. Here in this sentence, I think you might have noticed that the use of preposition of with remedy is wrong because it takes for. So replace of with for and now write this sentence as far as this problem of yours is concerned, there is no remedy for this as a matter of fact. Now let's take the final sentence of this lecture. I have made the payment and you need to sign over it as per the rules and regulations of the company. Now what is the mistake you have noticed in this sentence? In part B, there is a mistake. The verb sign doesn't take any preposition, remember. So remove it and now say the sentence as I have made the payment and you need to sign it as per the rules and regulations of the company. So this is all about preposition, first part. We will discuss some other sentences in part 2. So in this video lecture, you might have come to know about some problems related to prepositions and their correct uses. In part 1, we have completed some important prepositions. And in the second part, we are going to discuss the another prepositions. So thank you. We will meet again in the another lecture. Thanks a lot.